So there are 100,000 financial professionals who plan to retire in the next 10 years. And that is 30 to 40% of the entire workforce.
Okay.
Just let that
Our audience
settle
is
in.
not they're not all in the industry. So this is really important, I think, for you to share, because this is hitting different demographics and businesses. It's just across the board important.
Yeah. It is so wild when you think of like, what if a third of all doctors retired within a decade period? It's alarming.
Hello and welcome to Pathways E3, a special edition of Pathways with Amberstitt. The Pathways E3 podcasts were recorded with special guests who were attending and collaborating at the NAFA E3 conference in Newport Beach, California in September 2025. Let's join the conversation.
So we are live at E3, and I have my friend Lindsey Lewis here. And this is not the first time we've been together in the last 30 days. Quite a bit's been going on. I'm so excited we got to do a panel today. And for those of you that don't know her, she is at the American College, and I'll let you say what you do there. But really, I'll link her up in the show notes because she does amazing things. If you don't already know, she's all over the interwebs on social media. But Lindsey, I want to talk about what is exciting for you over at the American College in our time we have together today.
There are so many things that are exciting at the American College. My role there, I'm the managing director of our Center for Women, and then I champion our representation strategic focus area.
Ooh.
And on top of that, I do own a business with other partners, Alana Phillips, Ayanna Harris, called Catalyst and Advisor Launch Lab. So that's where we were connecting.
Hold on. We gotta.
I know. I gave my bracelet away today.
Oh my gosh, we have one in a bag. All right. So Catalyst.
So at the college, what's really exciting me right now is a lot of the work that we're doing with the next generation of folks who are coming into financial services. So there are 100,000 financial professionals who plan to retire in the next 10 years. And that is 30 to 40% of the entire workforce.
Okay.
Just let that
Our audience
settle
is not they're not all in the industry. So this is really important, I think, for you to share, because this is hitting different demographics and businesses. It's just across the board important.
Yeah. It is so wild when you think of like, what if a third of all doctors retired within a decade period? It's alarming. And currently, financial services has a pretty poor attrition rate, right? So a lot of folks leave, so they have a really bad retention rate. And so in order to hire and replace the amount of folks that are leaving, we need to hire like 500,000 to 1 million folks.
Like yesterday?
Like in the next little bit. So we're going to have this hiring crisis that's going to happen. And so the college has a lot of forethought around some of the coursework and curriculum that we're looking at building. So I'm in the process of building a course around the landscape of financial services.
Yeah.
So even for listeners and for practitioners, it's really tricky for folks to identify where firm lands on the industry spectrum.
Okay.
Right. So there's wirehouse, there's banks, there's insurance broker dealers,
That's so like
independent broker dealers, RIAs, hybrid RIAs, fintech firms. And then they all say that they want a financial advisor, but how you're compensated is totally different in each arena. So it's very fascinating to see folks that are trying to get into financial services. So maybe there's a doctor on here that doesn't want to practice anymore and they want to switch over to financial services.
They've done that.
And they definitely have done that. And they've been like, Carolyn, she's been so successful because she's like, I need someone to plan my life. And so I just left being a medical doctor and became a financial planner, but really understanding the landscape. And so we're working on this introductory course really for all folks. It'll be complimentary. And then working on an accelerator program. So people who are in the business to help them be more successful faster.
Sure.
So that's some of the work that we're doing at the college. And in addition, right, our regular scholarship program. So we do that 2 times per year. And then the women's events and networking and fostering community. And then all of our educational programs.
That's where
core.
That's where I got my fast track to figure out what I wanted to do. And it was the CLU, HFC. It makes it interesting. It gets the job done. Like my dad even said the CLU is like the backbone, and he's old school, So it was the intel I needed to be super proficient. But in my niche, I went to a different direction than say planning, but it was all important. And then I figured out like I do like the estate planning, the tax planning, and special needs is kind of like my next thing that I might hit you up on. You can go so many areas with it.
I think the beauty of the content at the college is that everything is applicable to your own life,
Yes.
right? You learn about it. And
Just like that physician you mentioned, she's going to go learn and then she's starting a new business out of it.
Absolutely. So a lot of amazing things that are happening out of the college. And part of the reason why we have the other business that we run is we still see a gap. So with Advisor Launch Lab, which I have a role within that space, we're helping independent teams hire and train next gen talent. And this is really to foster that talent pipeline and that engagement, because frequently if you have like a generation 1 advisor, or generation 2 advisor, and you have gen 3 coming in, there's just, norms, vernacular, vocabulary, things that just don't get translated super well. And some of these independent teams, if they've broken off, right, and they don't associate with home office, they need some support of training and development. And in the American College's recent Gen Z research study, it's 1 in 4 Gen Z financial professionals found their training ineffective.
Really?
Yes. And
from the firm level?
From the firm level.
Yeah. Do you think that
I don't think it's surprising when you see those folks. You also look at how long they want to stay in the industry, fewer than 6 years.
Okay, because there was a stat for a long time, because it's been almost 15 years for me, where it's it takes you 5 years to really get it going. So this is kind of different. This is saying we're seeing even other data that could make it even harder.
Oh yeah,
across the board.
I've heard the 3 years, right? If you can last 36 months, you can last in the industry, or 5 years. But in this younger generation, when you have more instant knowledge, technology, all this stuff, that runway is getting shorter. So if you're not doing a good job, they're going to exit, or they're a flight risk, right? They're going to switch firms quite a bit.
Yeah.
They don't see that as a bad thing versus previous generations.
Oh yeah.
See it as a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Pathways. Please consider giving us a like and subscribing to the channel. Your support goes a long way towards helping us bring you more compelling content. Remember, let's take action together. Now let's jump back into the conversation.
From today, you brought up something in a panel that made me think I think the alums need to rethink coming back and just immersing themselves again, because there's a bunch of new content. So there's some of that I think needs to be reintroduced. So you think, I got my designation, I have to do my CE, but I think that we can think of it differently now. You guys are adding on so many things.
Yes, we have so many different offerings. So one is the Knowledge Hub Plus platform. So consider this your CE one-stop shop, but on very specialized topics. So if you are needing more work on special needs, or more work on crypto, or more work on annuities or reverse mortgages, or how to deal with clients who have children with drug addictions, so many varying things there. And so you have that. So if you're an alum,
that's amazing. That's
you're in current good standing, you can access all of that.
I didn't know that. I mean, these are very important topics, and I didn't even know that happened. So that has been available. So I'm so excited that you brought that up. And I think we all need to share that just for the alums, but you have other things too, you were saying.
Yeah. So we have different certificates too. So we have a trust certificate. So historically, our Center for Ethics has really done work with corporations that are part of the Ethical Alliance. And so they're working towards creating business processes and practices that help foster ethical behaviors. And now they're taking that for individual advisors to learn more about ethical trust practices and building trust and establishing that. So we have that. We have a couple of new graduate certificates that are launching. Dr. Barbera, who is also on our panel, is launching some leadership modules earlier in 2026.
What's the demographic for that technically?
Well, anyone could take a leadership module course, right? So it is geared towards organizational behavior, organizational leadership, and change leadership. But, folks from different professions could hop in there.
But I mean, if you're saying the statistics for the Zs are saying that they're not getting, I didn't feel like it had a lot of leadership, and that was so long ago. So this could be, anybody probably should be redirected and think about tapping into this, because you know how I like the personal development side of things. We have to be doing better at that.
You are a personal development junkie. Always learning over there.
I know. But I think that successful firm owners, even outside the industry, very entrepreneurial, they're kind of a little balloon floating in the sky. And it's come down to ground zero, and you got to start remembering to lead your teams. And so people are really great making money also need to reinvest in themselves. And I think your teams appreciate that.
Also, a lot of financial planners, they do a lot of business planning for clients, and a lot of them do not do succession planning for themselves. It's definitely...
That happens?
Oh, yeah.
It's like a hot topic. Every time I go to a conference, there's people in the rooms for the succession planning, but I don't want to get too into the weeds about it on stage or in rooms where we are because we keep talking about it, but I don't think anyone's taking it as seriously or like worrying about their identity. And that's like, oh gosh, who am I going to be next?
Yeah. I think what's tricky is nobody likes to think about like the end of their working time, right? It's like same for selling for insurance. Like I don't want to think about, like unexpected early life departure or disability or whatever. Same thing with business planning, right? Especially if you get a lot of assets under management, you have a lot of reoccurring revenue, you're not thinking about it. And then all of a sudden something happens to them. Maybe it's a life event, maybe it's personal changes. Who knows? Yeah. And then if you're trying to like fire sale or it just turns out bad for everyone. And I've had some advisors just like close up shop where it's like you have an asset, especially if you're an independent broker dealer or an RIA where you have an asset that you could sell. It could be part of their individual retirement plan, but they're not thinking in advance. So typically succession planning needs to start at least 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've learned. And I think like, again, sneak peek with Pan, I was talking with him, but I think if we can make it exciting to organize for the potential sale, make your business as juicy as possible. But in that process, that can help you go, what else do I want for myself? Like, I hope it's more exciting. There's got to be a way to reframe it a little bit so that if we're going to live to 100, you have so many more choices. So if you start earlier, it should be for the greater good, we hope. But that's what I hope for people that we can convey to get them the resources they need. Start talking to people about it, but you got to do it. You got to do it.
Yes, you have to do it. It's actually interesting how sometimes there are things that happen in financial planning at large that you can apply to your own life. So there was this financial planning software. I don't know if it still exists. It's called Lumiate. And they would do goals in 8 dimensions of life, not just financial. So they would do spiritual, emotional, physical, occupational, intellectual, environmental, financial, and social. I think that's all of them. And so when you logged on to your financial plan, perhaps your financial goal might have been a little bit off, but your intellectual goal was better, or your family, relationship goal was better.
Sometimes you have to do that, right? You got to give, and then something's going to get depleted, but it's part of the journey.
It's a pendulum. And I hear frequently about like work-life balance. Don't think balance exists. No. There's a good book about like work-life harmony, kind of like that. Yeah. But I'm like, it's work-life integration.
I like that.
So things are going to, like which balls are glass, which balls are rubber, all of that stuff. So that's what I love about this profession and why I do a lot of the work that I do is really trying to help individuals realize that they can make really good and well for themselves while making other clients well. And that's why I'm like so passionate and advocate of women of color, different identity groups getting into financial services because it really does change generational wealth for them as an individual and for future generations.
All right. So if someone's just ending this podcast episode, they're done and they're like, Lindsey gave me this action item today. What do you want to tell them to do today?
Ooh, if you don't have a financial advisor, you should get one.
Ooh, that's a good one.
A lot of financial advisors do not have their own financial advisor.
Teach what we don't do.
Exactly. So we're
talking to you, audience.
We're talking to you, audience. But it really is important because if your financial house is in order, finances weave into so many different categories of life, relationships, love, how you feel about work, how you feel about all the different environments.
Keep your house in order.
Correct. So get a financial advisor if you don't have one. And if you do have one, do like a little audit, a little RFP, request for proposal. Make sure that they still are meeting standards.
Because things are changing so fast. Are they keeping up with it? We'd say the same for our tax advisors. So the same should be for your planner.
Exactly.
All right. That's good. Get on your phone. Find a financial advisor.
Find a financial advisor.
We know a few.
We do know a few.
Okay.
So you can always send us, I love a good DM on LinkedIn or Instagram. So feel free to reach out and happy to help in whatever way possible.
And then in the show notes, we'll have more about your businesses because there's more than one. Be able to find Lindsey. So thank you so much, Lindsey, for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome.
Have a good one.
Thank you for joining us for this special edition of Pathways E3, recorded at the NAFA E3 conference in Newport Beach, California. Join us for more insightful conversations with the experts and leaders of their industries. Until next time, keep taking action on your unique path.